So now that everybody has this beautiful picture of a nugget on screen, this is a really sad kind of story, actually. And I wanted to join the legal cannabis industry, and now I'm sitting in prison. And this was published in Truthout on Monday, I believe, to August 29th, Sunday or Monday, by a man named Jonathan Wall, who's been locked up at a SuperMax in Baltimore. And he's still not going to go to trial, at least until next year. Yeah, Darlene can smell that. I can smell that too. I'm sure Reef doesn't need to smell that, but we're going to get into that
Yeah,
in a little bit. Um,
yeah.
so, okay, he stands to be sentenced anywhere from 10 years to life without the possibility. Insane. All right. 4, squandering taxpayers' money. Okay, the federal government is squandering taxpayers' money for conspiring to distribute cannabis for transporting over 1,000 kilograms of cannabis from a state where it's legal, California, to a state where it's
1,000
quasi-legal,
kilos.
1,000 kilos. But how can it be punishment,
I mean, that's
right?
Snoop
But
Dogg's breakfast.
it's a
A
business.
thousand kilos.
It's a business,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's the states and municipalities that make up this country have made great advancements, but the federal government still classifies it as a Schedule 1. Okay, again, this is not some mistake down to the Nancy Reagan days. The DEA meets every year to discuss controlled substances and reclassifying drugs. I guess they've done that before. I don't know how often they reclassify a substance, but of course the pharmaceutical industry has been fighting this for years and years. So this is a really interesting question. How much public money has collectively gone toward this ceaseless crusade to imprison nonviolent so-called offenders and militarize police forces in the all-futile pursuit of trying to eradicate this plant? I know I'm preaching to the converted here. Um, so what he points out is that where's a place at the table for those with cannabis charges who spent years, if they were lucky, and decades on average, wasting away in the bowels of the U.S. gulag, only to come home marked and defiled by their felony record as they re-enter society? Okay, and for the Harry Anslingers and Richard Nixons and Jeff Sessionses, okay, there would be no green rush for the new manifestation of the American dream. But what he's saying is that it's impossible to get into this industry because you can't bank and you can't get a loan for it. You have to either have cash or know somebody who has cash that's willing to front you so that you put in the sweat equity work.
Right. Like in Florida, we have to have vertical integration was the wording,
Right?
right? So that you have to be able to vertically integrate every part of that business, which essentially means you have to own all the parts of the business before you can get a license. So that essentially means you had to have the Skrilla to be able to do that, from the jump. Which
Exactly.
who's got, 8 million just to, go up in smoke, you know?
Right. So John
So,
Boehner, right? For example, Boehner is now into weed stocks, acreage, now sitting on the board of Acreage Holdings. Okay, so one of the more ludicrous, the only thing more ludicrous than corporate America's attempts to monopolize it is that the federal government still prosecutes citizens for alleged involvement in conspiring to distribute or cultivate the same ancient leafy spike plant that companies are actively attempting to copyright individual strains of. It's pretty unbelievable.
which in this, which this is also, a civil rights issue because, you have the people more likely to be arrested are people of color. Therefore, it keeps people of color from getting into the business that is now legal for the thing that they were just incarcerated for. So, it's been a classic story among weed legalization is how it keeps minorities out of the business as it, essentially, what's the word? Where like they, you know, rich people come into the town and do the same thing. They come
Gentrification,
into like that borough. That's it,
essentially
right?
gentrification, right?
Yeah, of weed.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
yes, the wealthy have monopolized the
have you watched
corporatization
have you watched
of marijuana and cannabis.
Killer Mike's video on Killer Mike's series on Netflix?
No, not yet.
Right, where like the first episode he tries to like live black essentially,
Hmm.
right, and only buying and uh dealing with black owned and operated businesses, and he like had to go without weed because weed was gentrified, you
Oh,
know.
good. Oh, God.
So and
That must have been
until he
hard for
found,
him.
like Snoop or the Jamaicans, he was out of luck, you know.
Right.
So,
Sure.
but
Excellent.
yep,
So, again, I love what he says at the end. It's time for us to say enough is enough and rise up to demand an overhaul of the systemic nepotism we call it our criminal justice system that by design persecutes our brothers and sisters, fathers and sons, and mothers and daughters, all while simultaneously enriching the elite and enabling corporate America to further divide up our country among themselves. Now, I have a bonus story here, and I wasn't really planning on doing this, but I saw that Misty Winston shared an amazing story tonight in Independent Left, which made it into Independent Left News because it was shared by Misty. And I have to find it now.
right.
It's a little further down, and it's about a woman we talked about a little bit earlier, but I thought everyone would think it was funny because it's not funny
This
because
is the
it's
lady
kind
who
of
got like
sad.
arrested for 1,000 pounds of it in
A
was it
thousand
Tennessee?
was it 1,000 pounds? It was a lot. She said she had an ounce. I think it was two
I don't
hundred
know.
pounds. It was a couple of 100 pounds. Hold on, where is it? So you
Yeah,
keep
that's
going,
about an ounce,
keep
you know,
going, keep going, keep going. There it is. Maybe an
right
ounce.
there. Yeah, yeah. This one.
Yep. So Misty says, "I love this woman. Does she have a defense fund? You got to see her. I love it. Misty's tweet is just perfect.
Yeah, if y'all wanna
Here,
donate to Misty's new defense fund of uh
come
this
on.
lady, you can also
This is gonna
support
load in a
the
second. It's just
Guillotine
taking forever
Restoration
because my computer's
Association.
slow. Come on, PC. There we go. That's a great photo.
Oh yeah, this lady flipping off everybody.
She's
That's
giving
great.
the finger to the mugshot. I love her.
Legend.
Does she need donations for her defense? End of story. Thank you,
What you
Misty.
want is what you want is that grandma making your cookies, because that'll be a good time. You know, like you definitely want cookies from her, and you hope she sells stuff at the bake sale. You know,
20 pounds.
like 20 20 pounds. That's ridiculous.
So follow
So
bitch with Comrade Misty, Facts on
I
the
have
Ground, MCSC, Sarcasm Stardust. Definitely lit. You should definitely be following her on Twitter if you're not already.